Hello friends, this is Dr. Aman Upaganlawar, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacology, SNJB SSTJ College of Pharmacy, Tanwar. Today we are going to discuss about insulin. I have made this presentation into two parts. Part 1, which mainly focus on biosynthesis and secretion of insulin, and Part 2, which mainly focus on mechanism of action and physiological actions of the insulin. Now, before going to start with actually insulin, we will just discuss a small bit about diabetes. Diabetes mellitus, it is a heterogeneous disorder in which carbohydrate metabolism is reduces while protein and lipids are increases. So, in case of diabetes, the glucose level is increases in the blood. A persistent hyperglycemia will lead to the diabetes mellitus, and as a result the protein and lipids metabolism is increases in the growing. This is the growing disorders which occurs in most of the developed as well as developing country, and India, it is the second most important disorders, which is also called as the lifestyle disorders or metabolic disorders. What causes the diabetes mellitus? Diabetes mellitus is caused because of the reduction in the secretion of insulin, which is also termed as insulin deficiency, or reduction of response to target tissue to insulin. That means insulin is releases, but it will not reaches to the target site, and thereby it causes the insulin resistance. What are the hallmarks of diabetes? Diabetes can be identified by hyperglycemia, which is one of the first diagnostic criteria. Second is that if the patient is feeling excess urination, that is called as the polyuria, that means frequent urination is observed. Then excess thirst, that is polydipsia, and excess eating, which is also called as the polyphagia. Now, based on the types, diabetic mellitus are classified mainly into four different classes. First is type 1 diabetic mellitus, which is also called as insulin dependent diabetes mellitus or juvenile onset diabetes. So in this case, patient is totally depends on the exogenously provided insulin, externally provided insulin. So no insulin will be released into the patient body, and that's why there is a hyperglycemia from the birth of the patient, which is that's why it is called as type 1 diabetes mellitus or insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Type 2 diabetes mellitus, which is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus or maturity onset diabetes. The term itself indicates that non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus means the patient is not dependent on the insulin primarily, but this type of diabetes is developed in the human being throughout its life. Maybe number of causes are there. Maybe the change in the lifestyle is one of the important factor for this type 2 diabetes. Type 3 diabetes, it is occurs because of the chronic pancreatitis and powerful medicines. Some of the time, the medicine produces their toxic effect on the pancreas, and because of that, the insulin secretion from the pancreas is reduces, which produces the diabetes mellitus. So, chronic pancreatitis and some medicines are also responsible for the damage to the pancreas, and that's why they produces the type 3 diabetes mellitus. Type 4 diabetes mellitus, it is called as gestational diabetes mellitus, which occurs during the pregnancy. Uh, the insulin secretion is releases, and the offspring which produces having the type 4 diabetes mellitus. Now, diabetes is one of the disorders, but if chronic hyperglycemia is there, it will produces so many complications, which are divided into microvascular complications and macrovascular complications. So under microvascular complication, the first complication is diabetes retinopathy. Because of persistence hyperglycemia, it will affect the eyesight and will produces the retinopathy, and the chances of the cataract and all these things are more in diabetic patient. Second is diabetic nephropathy. which is directly targeted on the kidney. The urine filtration, the GRF are reduces, and there is a chances that patient undergo the hypertensive problem or cardiovascular problem. Then third microvascular complication is diabetic neuropathy. Because of hyperglycemia, the neurons get damaged, the myelin sheath is going to damage, and as a result, the conduction of the impulses from the neuron is going to hamper, and patient may feel the numbness and all these things. Under macrovascular complication, if you observe the stroke, particularly cerebral stroke, is a macrovascular complications. Second is heart diseases like hypertension, congestive cardiac failure, heart attack may be one of the important macrovascular complication. And third macrovascular complication is the peripheral vascular diseases, like the diseases with the vein which are there in the periphery of the human being. So these are the microvascular and macrovascular complications which are associated with the hyperglycemia or diabetes. Then come to the main point, that is insulin. What is insulin? So insulin, it is a pancreatic hormone, or it is a hormone which is releases from the pancreas. If you see the pancreas, the endocrine pancreas, it consists of less than 2% of the total pancreatic tissue. It forms by isolate of Langerhans. It is named by the German scientist, that is Paul Langerhans, in 1869. Then isolates are more abundant in the tail than the head and body of pancreas. There are about 1 millions of the isolate in the human pancreas. If you see the structure here, that the pancreas and the tail of the pancreas which containing most of the isolate, and in figure it is shown that how isolates are looking. So insulin, they secrete two types of secretion, that is exocrine secretion and the endocrine secretion. Most of the exocrine secretions, these are the digestive enzymes which are involved in the digestion of various food material, particularly amylase, which digests the carbohydrates. Then another enzyme, that is trypsin and chymotrypsin, which digest the protein. And third is the lipases, which digest the triglycerides particularly. Then some endocrine secretions are there, which are very much important. Under that, the alpha cell of the pancreas, it occupies 70% of the total pancreatic site. It secretes the hormone glucagon that rises the sugar level, means it has the opposite action to that of the insulin. Second is the beta cell, which carries 70% of the pancreatic size, and it secretes insulin that lower the sugar level, means its action is opposite to that of the alpha cell. Third cell, that is the delta cell, which is a 7%. It secretes somatostatin, is a hormone which inhibits the secretion of insulin as well as the glucagon. And the last is the F cell, which secrete pancreatic polypeptide. So overall, this exocrine as well as endocrine secretion of the pancreas are most important for the body balance, and the beta cell, which secrete the insulin, is also important to maintain the diabetic condition. If you see the insulin general part, insulin, it is a polypeptide. It containing the 51 amino acid. It having the two chain as shown in the figure. Chain B, it is a 30 amino acid, and chain A, it is a 21 amino acid. And both these chain, they are attached, joined together by disulfide bridge. So molecular weight of insulin is 5800. Two chains, chain A and chain B, joined together with disulfide bridge. These are stored in beta cell with 2 atoms of zinc and 6 atoms of insulin. Human pancreas containing up to 80 milligram of insulin, and 1 milligram is equal to 28 units of insulin approximately. Now, if you see the normal level of diabetes sugar level in the patient, it has been observed that if The sugar level in fasting condition, it is 70 to 100 mg per deciliter. Post meal means after food, it is 70 to 140 mg per deciliter. And HbA1c, which is also called as glycated hemoglobin, its level is less than 5.7. So once a person is diabetic, we can observe his fasting glucose level is more than 125 milligram per deciliter. After food, it is 200 milligram per deciliter and above, and HbA1c is 6.5 above. So, with the rise in plasma glucose level, a linear rise in plasma insulin concentration can be observed in the range of 50 to 300 milligram percent of plasma glucose. If you see the biosynthesis of insulin, then in case of the biosynthesis, if you observe, the insulin gets synthesized from the pre-pro insulin, and pre-pro insulin, it consists of 110 amino acids. It is first formed as pre-pro insulin in the ribosome at rough endoplasmic reticulum. The pre-pro insulin containing of the four sequential peptides. First is the beta chain, which having the 30 amino acids. Another is the A chain, which having the 21 amino acids. Third is the C peptide, and the fourth is the N-terminal signal peptide. Now, this N-terminal signal peptide is immediately cleaved from the pre-proinsulin to give proinsulin having the amino acid 86 amino acid. So, in the Golgi apparatus, the disulfide bridge are formed that allow the proinsulin to be folded. A and B chains are linked by C peptides. During packaging in the Golgi apparatus into the granules, proinsulin is cleaved to form insulin molecule, and C peptide are relieved in the granules. The insulin is associated with the zinc as molecule matured. C peptides has no biological activity as insulin and secreted in equimolar ratio with the insulin. So this is all about the biosynthesis of the insulin. It is mainly synthesized from the pre-pro insulin, and at the end, the A and B chain they get joined by disulfide bridge, and C peptide get releases. Now, how insulin get secreted from the beta cell? So if you see the secretion of insulin, so in the beta cell, there is a presence of the GLUT2 transporter, which is necessary for the entry of the glucose molecule. Along with that, there is a presence of potassium as well as the calcium channels. Now, when the glucose is entered or with response to the hyperglycemia, the insulin get releases. Now, glucose enters the beta cell of pancreas by GLUT2 receptor. The glucose which is present is get utilized by glycolytic enzyme to pyruvate by TCA cycle, and there is a production of the ATP. Now adenosine triphosphate. Now increase in the adenosine triphosphate intracellularly inhibit the ATP sensitive potassium channels by reducing the potassium efflux. The depolarization, because of the inhibition, it will leads to the depolarization. The depolarization, the beta cell which is open, which in turns opens the calcium channels, increases calcium influx, increases cytoplasmic calcium that facilitate the calcium mediated exocytosis of the insulin from the granules, and thereby the insulin molecule get secreted into the blood, and that will reduces the glucose or metabolize the glucose. Now, apart from the glucose, there are certain other mediators which also stimulates the secretion of insulin. These are as follows. First is the amino acid, particularly leucine, arginine. These are responsible for the stimulation of beta cell. Then triglycerides and free fatty acids, they also stimulate to secrete the insulin. Then keto acids are important factor. Then catecholamines, by their vagal stimulation, they also stimulates the insulin. Then cholinergic vagal stimulation is important. Then exercise will also leads to the stimulation of the beta cell, as during exercise more and more energy is required. Then obesity and meal, they can also stimulates the release of or secretion of insulin from the beta cell. Now, what are the sources of insulin? Insulin can be isolated from the pancreas of animals, usually cow, pigs, or even horses. Then nowadays, animal insulin is replaced by human insulin, and several analogs of human insulins are available. Since 1918s, recombinant insulin were manufactured using bacteria and yeast. Then, insulin obtained from pancreas is a complex with zinc, if not water soluble, at neutral pH. If it is complex with zinc, it is not water soluble at neutral pH. So, to make it solubilize into neutral pH, convert to the sodium salt. So, sodium salt of the insulin, they are water soluble at neutral pH. Many types of insulin preparations are available. We are here, we discuss some important part, that is rapid acting insulin analogs having onset of action is 5 to 15 minutes, peak level reaches to 30 to 60 minutes, and duration is 2 to 5 hours. They can be injected at the start of the meal. Then short acting or soluble or regular insulin, its onset is 30 minutes and peak level is 1 to 3 hours. Duration is 4 to 8 hours. Usually injected 15 to 30 minutes before meal as clear solution. Then third is the intermediate or long acting insulin. It is isofan or zinc insulin. Its onset of action is 1 to 2 hours and 4 to 8 hours peak level, and duration is 8 to 12 hours. Used to control glucose level between meals, may be combined with short acting insulin. And fourth is the long acting insulin, which is at onset is 30 to 60 minutes and no peak is given, but duration is 60 to 24 hours, usually taken once daily. So overall, the insulin preparation is classified based on the duration of action, based on the onset of action, that is rapid action, short action, intermediate action, and long acting insulin. So friends, this is what about the biosynthesis and secretion of insulin. Watch the insulin part 2, which includes mechanism of action, physiological action, and effects of the insulin. Thank you.